about to interview Mr. Josh Reed, director of Drama Geek Studios at the Crescent Theater. And of course, I have to represent the last show that I was in, Jesus Christ Superstar, where I was a soul girl. So let's go. I wasn't feeling nervous at all, but now I'm starting to feel a little nervous. Breathing it out. Anyway, I brought some Ollipops and hopefully that'll soothe the nerves. I hope you're nervous, but you know, who doesn't like an Ollipop? All right, I just arrived at the theater and now it is Operation Find Josh Reed. All right, follow me. They always lock it for safety reasons. We're waiting for adults to arrive and then we're gonna get to this interview. Would you like an Ollipop?
If it is some sort of a product placement, absolutely.
I'm not sponsored, I figured about one. Okay, so what made you choose theater as your main profession and how did you get involved?
I initially got involved in grammar school. My elementary grammar school used to do Christmas pageants, and each year it was the only creative outlet the school really had. Growing up in Patterson, obviously funds were limited, so I enjoyed that, and as I got older, more opportunities became available with community theater. And Drama Geek Studios kind of happened by accident. A former partner of mine, business partner, we were co-directing a show at one of the local schools and thought, you know, these kids need more than one opportunity a year to be able to perform. We should, you know, try and change that. So we started Drama Geeks. Initially it was just, you know, classes, but then we said, oh, let's try doing a show. And that was 65 productions ago, 11 years later.
Wow, that's amazing. And you were just originally the director, like right off the bat?
Right off the bat, I was running the business itself. I had just graduated college myself, 2013. I spent a year looking for a teaching position, but being an alternate route student, they weren't hiring non-education graduates. So the decision was try and run it for a year, see what happens, and if it doesn't work, shut it down, and then go back to trying to, you know, find a teaching position. I did direct the first show Drama Geeks ever put on, and I've been the director since.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wait, without education, as in like not going to?
I didn't go to any, you know, full-time schooling for theater. I've taken, you know, different classes here and there, learning, you know, oh, let's learn this light trick or, you know, something like that. But,
so what did you go to William Patterson for?
My degree is in integrated math and science with a concentration in environmental studies.
Wow.
So I was at one point a triple major in education, math, and science. Yeah, but I dropped the education because it was too much.
Very cool. Okay. What were you doing when you were 25 and where were you?
When I was 25, I had freshly gotten sober. I was working a clerical job at a hospital because getting sober, I thought I needed to, you know, the partying and fun was over. Now it's time to be an adult. I was doing theater. I was in a show for myself where I was performing. But yeah, I was working a job I wasn't happy in, thinking I needed to be this adult that I hadn't been for so many years. Met my ex-wife at that time. That's where I was, and none of that exists anymore.
It's amazing.
Take a...
Did you ever feel lost, and were you scared of the future?
All the time. All the time, still to this day. think something a lot of people don't understand about what I do is no matter how creative you can be, no matter what your vision can be, what your passion is for theater, for creating, it's all dependent on who walks through that door to buy a ticket. So when one of the things I don't do is I never look at ticket sales beforehand, because if it seems light, then that can be discouraging.
Right.
And I can't control that,
So you don't
yeah,
have expectations.
I don't. I try not to. When we did Beauty and the Beast, I had expectations, and as far as sales go, I was disappointed. But as far as the end product, it was amazing. I feel lost when I'm not creating. Truthfully, if I take too long of a break, my anxiety kicks in, and I don't know which way is up, and I need to be doing something in the theater, specifically our theater. But
that's really awesome that you realize that. I think a lot of people actually feel those emotions, but they don't tie it into, what's driving them or what they need to do or channel that energy into.
Well, because we're not taught to be that way. We're taught to be. I know I'm only a couple of years older than you, but you're taught, go to college, get an education, get a job, settle down, have the family, retire, die. Where in there does it say be happy? And I think too many people. What class is this for?
Foundations of Success with Dr. Full.
I think that's what being happy.
And having fun.
Having fun.
Which is what I've enjoyed working with you so much. You make it so much fun. That's also why I chose Mr. Josh Reed as like someone who inspires me, and I really saw him as like the perfect ideal candidate for this.
Thank you.
Yeah. So.
And I get to dress like this every day.
Yeah. So, how did you discover your passion? Did you know you were going to do this when you were young?
No. If I told you what I thought I was going to be when I was young, you'd laugh. It's worth a chuckle.
Yeah, now you got
I come from a family of police officers, so I thought initially my first goal was I'm going to be a lawyer. But that was that whole driven mentality of, get the best paying job, and you love to argue, so you'd be a great lawyer. So I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer. And then I thought, well, no, I want to really help people on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to be like Dad and my brother and my grandfather. I'm going to be a state trooper. None of them were state troopers. And if I'm being honest, then at like 14 years old, I found marijuana, and the police stream kind of faded away slightly. It came back because I wanted to help people. So a lot of what I try and incorporate with what we do here is, and I say to the kids, the young people we work with a lot, I don't care if you leave an amazing actor or actress, the best singer, if you leave a good person, that reflects, in my opinion, much greater on us than if you're the next, Miley Cyrus, you're the next whatever. You make it to Broadway, that'd be amazing for us too. But, like any job, things have time constraints. So I want you leaving a good person. So I didn't necessarily always know theater would be where I ended up. I always knew I wanted to help people, which is a huge part of our mission statement. Like, if you can't afford to be involved in something like theater, because it can cost money, why shouldn't you be able to? I'm going to be the guy to stop you. No, come. There's several cast members of yours who couldn't afford certain things. Well, okay, we'll figure it out. Right. So helping people is where I wanted to be. I was able to tie my love for creating things.
Well, I see that completely. Because people come in here and they leave a different feeling, different emotions. So
hopefully positive ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So, did you ever feel pressure from people or family around you?
Yes. Just like in general, or?
I guess in general, in terms of your profession.
Yes. family that's not involved in what we do don't quite understand what it takes to do what we do. There are so many different events you have to miss because you have rehearsal or it's tech week, or you need to update something in the building. So there's different kinds of pressures. There's the pressures to put the job aside and be at different things,
right.
and to take that break. There's the pressure to oh well, if you got into teaching, if you got another job, you'd be making more money. Yeah, that's true, but I already work crazy hours as it is, so I tend to get the pressure from the people that don't understand what it is we
right.
do
and have expectations.
And they expect certain things. Friends and family will show up expecting free tickets, and it's I saw it online somewhere. I've seen it a bunch. People will go out and spend $200 on a pair of Air Jordans and not bat an eye to give this billionaire their hard-earned money, but someone they know, someone local, is asking $20 for a ticket to see a show that 30 people put 2 months into, and they expect that to be free.
Right.
So
it's not fair. It's
yeah.
entitlement.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah.
comes down to that. So let's see. How did you get from there to where you are today? Do you have a role model or a mentor?
I think hard work was the first thing. And it's cliche, but hard work and never giving up, and
It's true.
but it is true.
Yeah.
A mentor or role model. My father has done theater since I was a kid, so I would go see his shows and got to, he was the one who got me more involved after elementary school. So I would say
Your dad?
was the driving force. But probably both my parents. They always, they still preach it, but they've taught all of their children, reach for the stars. You dream it, you can do it. And ironically enough, we are all in some way, shape, or form in a profession where we help people. I do it on the art side. My sister does it through education. My one brother works at a hospital. My other brother's a police officer. So we all help people in some way. I know that, mom and dad would be the role model and mentors. A lot of what I've learned in theater has been on the job training.
Amazing. All right, what makes you feel like you've had a really good day at work?
I go home tired.
That's not fair. It's
I go home tired.
Do you consider this your life work?
Yes.
Like your life's work?
Aside from my son, he, and I know that's, again, cliche. I'm sorry.
No, that's sweet.
But raising him to be a good person and following his dreams, that's life work number one. But that's as a dad, as Josh, just Josh. This is where I'm meant to be.
Wonderful. What makes for a discouraging day at work?
So as a director, I obviously, and I'm the artistic director as well, so I pick the shows we're gonna do. We have a board and we throw ideas around, but ultimately I'm the final decision on what shows to do. And then I direct them, so you get the vision in your head of how you want to see it, what you expect to see, and it can be discouraging when you're, say, going through blocking and you see it one way in your head and it's not just panning out on stage. That's discouraging because you can begin to think that you're not getting your point across, your vision across. So that can be discouraging. It could also be discouraging because in your head, it's almost perfect. And to see your performers struggle to get to where they need to be, it's an expectation that is
discouraging.
No, it's an expectation I shouldn't put on people because
they don't see
you know, you play it over and over in your head, and it's like, oh my God, it's perfect up there, but you've done it once, and now I'm expecting it to look exactly,
Right.
you know, so that can be discouraging. It usually always ends up where it's supposed to be, but that'll be a discouraging day when you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's see. How did you build a life around something you believe in while still paying the bills?
I strip on the side.
Here, at the Crescent Theater.
Look for Vanilla Thunder. You make sacrifices.
Yeah.
You know, it's, some people need to go on lavish vacations to be happy. Some people need to have the big expensive house, the big fancy car to be happy. You can see by what I'm wearing that I'm not a label whore or a clothes horse type person. You know, and if you can't provide and take care of the things you need to take care of, like your power being on, food being in the refrigerator, if you can't sustain day to day, who cares about the lavish vacation?
Right.
Who cares about the fancy car? Like, that's for other people to look at. You know, my son smiles, he's got food in his belly, he's got the toys that he wants, you know, the lights are on at the theater. So,
Right.
you know, it's about sacrifice and prioritizing what's truly important. You know, yeah, I don't know.
What are
Hope that
your,
makes sense.
no, it does. What are your final words for people trying to figure out what they want to do with their life?
Take your time.
It's a big one.
Take your time. In this country, I think all over the world, at least that's, yeah, whatever. It's like, okay, you go to high school. I mean, you see it with kids here, but you go to high school, then you go to college, you graduate at 21 years old.
Right.
You're supposed to know what you're meant to do with the rest of your life.
Yeah. I know I didn't.
Yeah.
I just went back to college. I'm 25 years old.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't know at 25, at 21, Jesus, at 21 I was falling off of bar stools. But take your time. Taking your time leads to success, will lead to happiness, and put you where you need to be. Without getting hokey, you know, the universe is looking out for you. The energies are there for you to follow. If you jump into something that you're not happy doing, you can always change it up and walk away. I walked away from a career. I walked away from a marriage. But I walked away from an established life to take a chance on something that ultimately made me happy.
And successful.
Yeah, and successful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But take your time. You know, you shouldn't know at 21 what you want to do with the rest of your life. If you do, great, God bless. But if you don't, that's okay too, because, you know, how many people work a career for 20 years, retire, and then work a second career after that, doing something completely different, and they usually say, well, I'm so much happier now.
Right.
Well, you're happier because you got that extra money, but you're also happier because you're finally doing something you wanted to do.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to live a life with regrets. Well, thank you so much for your time, Josh. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I hope it's helpful.
Thank you.